This is the Strategy Create a Killer Social Media Presence webinar. You are all welcome. Thank you for joining us. And this is the beginning of the event for today. I am very grateful to have everybody online that we currently have. I'm sure there'll be some more who come in just a few minutes later. But we'll get started right now. I am Ed Roach, hosting the event with Jason Wilson and Patty Robb. As a strategy evangelist for Strategy LLC, our company, I enjoy working with a growing team committed to building long-lasting, productive relationships. And I pursue leaders like yourselves. I pursue businesses, nonprofits, with every resource at hand so that we can create partnerships that will use the excellent, affordable, trustworthy technology and marketing solutions that can grow their enterprise. That's what I like doing, and I learn from folks like the presenters today, Patty Robb, who brings her unique perspective from a diverse leadership role in a number of organizations, everything from high-tech ones to nonprofits. She's passionate about marketing and leadership development, and Patty helps organizations develop strategic, action-oriented plans that fuel growth. Patty is an authentic, collaborative partner that brings valuable skills in strategic planning, operations, marketing plan development, and strategies, including message content development, social media, print events, web, and more. Patty also uses her skills and experience to make a difference in the community and serves as a trustee of her family foundation. And you can find out more about Patty at our website, strategynewmedia.com. I also want to introduce Jason Wilson as one of our presenters. He is a strategist and a small business owner. He's been launching companies since 1997 and working with companies. Well, hundreds of companies have benefited from his experience, and he's been an amazing partner in helping us grow strategy. As a strategist, Jason's priority has always been to create the best solution that uniquely fits each company's needs, and he is fluent in web marketing, design, and technology, and has expertise in SEO, which is search engine optimization, for those of you who may not know what those acronyms mean. Search engine marketing is SEM, and he has moved companies from anonymity to the top of front page listings and online searches. He is an avid Husker fan, and he does ask that folks won't hold that against him, but some folks will just do that anyway. But he appreciates a great workout, a good cup of coffee, and time with his family, and I appreciate him as a partner in strategy. I want to encourage all of you to use the chat function during the presentation. There's questions you can type in, and if you would, just go ahead and just note those. We'll be paying attention to those as they pop up, and the presenters will address them as they go through their portions of the presentation. Also, during this time, those of you who have signed in, if you would take the time during this sometime to give us some stats about yourselves. Give us a little chat on how large your company is, maybe the number of employees you have, what industry you work in, what may be the next thing you need to grow your business that you think is going to be beneficial to you. That'd be great to share with everybody that's on the call. And we appreciate each and every person being here. We are grateful for your attendance today. I believe you're going to learn some great things, and I look forward to getting to know each of you better as well. And we have some extra special things that we'll share at the end that all of you who are participating today will get to have as an extra special opportunity. I want to now introduce to you our first speaker, Mr. Jason Wilson. Jason, are you ready?
I am. Thanks, Ed, for that introduction. Thanks, everybody, for being a part of the webinar today. We're going to try to keep it to an hour, and I can't see the time, so Ed will help prompt me and let me know when we're running over time, as well as Patty. But we got a lot of great things to share with you today, and do want to let you know that we are recording the session today, and we'll make the session available online after our meeting, so sometime later today. And we'll send out an email with that as well. So without any further ado, we'll just kind of jump into it. What I want to do is I want to talk about the 5 main social channels and kind of the big features about them. I'm also going to talk about some core elements that you want to have when you're looking at social media and how you want to kind of best practices for that. Patty's then going to talk in depth about content and kind of the 10 main things you want to think about regarding content with social media. So I'm going to just jump in here, and we're just going to look at the main 5 channels. The big one, kind of the monkey, the big gorilla, the 800-pound gorilla in the room is Facebook. Facebook is by far the #1 social network with over 1 billion monthly active users, and they're growing at 26% per year, which is just phenomenal. What I've done is I've got a screenshot here of Nike's Facebook page. A couple things to note. They've got their profile picture, which is this kind of little box here with their logo in it, and they have a cover. All social media now have the ability to upload profile images and cover images. Some of them allow a better branding experience than others. But with Facebook, you've got your cover here and your logo or your profile. And then below that, you've got an opportunity to have some information about your company, as well as other kind of widgets or applications that can run down here. So Nike has integrated their support system. So if you're looking for support, photos, Nike is really well known for their high-level photography. And they've also integrated Instagram and Twitter right here in their Facebook page as well. And then down below is what's called the Facebook timeline, and kind of where all your posts go. And most of you are probably pretty familiar with that. It's actually 67% of all internet users are members of Facebook, which is just phenomenal. So if you think about 67% of all internet users worldwide being a part of the network, it just speaks to the reason why you'd want your company on Facebook, because almost everybody is there, and just an amazing amount of reach and opportunity for you to build brand awareness and to build recognition for your company through Facebook. The average user of Facebook is a young 25-year-old woman. Obviously, a lot of us older folks are using it as well. But kind of the average user is a young 25-year-old woman who lives in a big city, has a college degree, and has a household income of over $75,000. So pretty impressive stats there. Facebook is kind of dominated by women, but not too much. 71% of women use Facebook and 62% of men. 77% of all business to consumer companies have acquired new customers compared to 43% of B2B companies. And so as you look through the use of Facebook, if you're a B2C, you definitely want to have a presence on Facebook. We're a B2B, and we've acquired new customers, so we're part of that 43%. And I think if you're using Facebook well, those numbers can certainly be higher than that. Your primary business target for using Facebook is obviously consumers with that. So that's the first kind of channel. The second channel is Google+. Google+ has just recently become the second largest social network. They just passed Twitter a couple months ago, and they're growing at about 33% per year. So they're growing very quickly. They're still about half the size of Facebook. So Facebook is by far the biggest social network, but Google+ is catching up. You'll notice here that Google+ provides a much bigger branding experience. So you've got your profile picture, which shows up as a little circle down here. And then you've got other kind of interesting information about your company, and then how many followers you have. If you have reviews, they'll be there as well. The interesting thing about the Google branding experience is that this cover is actually kind of dynamic. When it first loads, only about half of this cover shows up. And then as you scroll down or scroll up, then more of the cover is revealed. And then these all kind of just change dynamically as well, where the profile picture will get small and kind of move around in the interface. And then they have something similar to the timeline, which is down below here, where all your posts and different things show up down in this area. Google+ has about 500 million active users. Whereas Facebook was more women were using Facebook, Google Plus is really dominated by men. 68% of men use Facebook, or 68 out of all the users on Facebook, or Google Plus, sorry, 68% are men and 32% are women. 42% tend to be single and 27% tend to be married. The fastest growing demographic on Facebook are 45 to 54-year-olds, which is kind of interesting. The primary business target here is really techie males. Google Plus tends to be dominated more by men and men who are interested in technology. That doesn't mean that that's the only target. There's obviously very other large demographics there as well. That's kind of the primary target. The reason that you'd want to be involved in Google Plus, they're relatively new, so a lot of folks aren't sure what they should do with that. From a business perspective, Google Plus is kind of being driven by Google. So if you're looking to get your business ranked on Google search engines, then Google Plus has become a necessary factor for that, because Google actually uses the reviews and the followers to gauge relevance. And as we walk through this, we'll see some examples of how Google Plus is actually being impacted in search results. And so if you're looking to raise your Google rankings, Google Plus is really a necessity to increase your visibility in the search engine. And Google is kind of driving usage of Google Plus by that fact that they're influencing their search results by Google Plus reviews, rankings, and followers. The next social channel that we want to take a look at is Twitter. Twitter probably provides the best branding experience out of all of the social media. You'll see here, this is the brand page for Disney Pixar, and Google has actually 3 elements that you can brand. You've got your profile picture, which in this case is the Pixar ball, and then you have a header image, which in this case is the picture of Mike and Sully and going back to college. And then you have a background, which is just a huge creative piece that you can incorporate and really use for branding purposes throughout your organization. And then down below is your Twitter feed and the posts that are coming through. And then you can obviously upload images and videos and Vine and those kinds of things to leverage your brand and to promote yourself throughout the Twitterverse. Some active facts about Twitter. They've got about 500 million users. They're running neck and neck with Google Plus. I'd imagine that Google Plus will probably, spread that gap here in the next year. The average Twitter user is a female Hispanic, 20-something, who attended college, lives in a city, and makes less than $30,000 or between $50,000 and $75,000. So kind of an interesting statistic there. Women tend to post status updates, while men tend to use Twitter for late-breaking news. So depending on who your main audience is, if you're a business who really caters to women, then you want to be posting more about the status updates and more socially relevant kind of posts. If your main target is men, then you want to be posting about kind of late-breaking news and things of that nature. So something to kind of keep in mind as you're using Twitter for your company. The other thing about Twitter is the most popular accounts are overwhelmingly celebrities. Nearly all of the top 100 accounts on Twitter are celebrities. The number 1 account on Twitter, get ready for this, with 40 million followers is Justin Bieber. Number 2, with 38 million, is Lady Gaga. And then it just goes down from there. And so I think when people are using Twitter, they're really looking for that connection, kind of that personal connection with the people that they follow. A lot of people follow sports and athletes or music stars, TV stars, those kinds of things, and they're really looking for that personal connection and kind of getting that feel that they're a part of the life of that person. And so that's something to keep in mind with your business as well. As you're using Twitter, keep it personal, keep it fun, make it things where really you're exposing your humanity and having fun with it. The primary business target for business and with Twitter is 18 to 29-year-olds. The younger crowd has kind of been fading away from Facebook. Facebook has really been adopted by the 30 to 50 to 60 crowd who's kind of wanting to reconnect with folks in their past. The younger crowd really is using Twitter to kind of keep up to date and keep up with what's going on in culture and those kinds of things. So keep that in mind as you consider using Twitter for your business as well. The fourth social network we're going to take a look at is LinkedIn. And here I'm showing the Microsoft LinkedIn company page. Most of us probably have a LinkedIn personal page, but you can also create a company page that allows you to really display the opportunities of your company. So you can have a recent update section. You can promote your career opportunities there. Really a great place to also promote your products. You can have a post for each of your products with a video for your products and lots of information about your products and services, and then other things of that nature. So really a great way to promote your business in a business-oriented social network. Whereas Google+, Twitter, and Facebook are really more of a consumer-oriented platform. LinkedIn is primarily a business-to-business platform, and they've got over 200 million active users, so they're definitely the little guys on the block, but they are growing. They're adding 2 new users per second into their network. Something interesting, 35% of their users access the site daily, and 87% of LinkedIn users actually use LinkedIn and trust LinkedIn, the information they find on LinkedIn, for decisions they make in their business. 49% of LinkedIn users are using LinkedIn as a good source of word-of-mouth referrals on brand experience. So it's not only a great place for you to network, but it's also a great place for you to build quality referrals and kind of reputation for your company through LinkedIn. 4 out of 5 LinkedIn members drive business decisions. So if you're a business-to-business company, you want to be on LinkedIn and active there because the people that are using LinkedIn are the people who are going to make the decisions to buy your services. 76% of users use LinkedIn to research other companies. That is huge. So when you have a potential customer looking to do business with you, it's very likely that they've gone to your website, they've gone to your social media, and if they're in LinkedIn and a heavy user of LinkedIn, they're using LinkedIn to vet your company before they ever do business with you. 68% of LinkedIn users are using LinkedIn to reconnect with former employees or staff or coworkers, things of that nature. And then 49% of LinkedIn users are using LinkedIn to build their networks and to gain employment and to gain new business opportunities. There are currently about 2.7 million business pages on Facebook or on LinkedIn. And again, your primary business target is the business-to-business customer. The fifth one is YouTube, and you may think that, you may ask, is YouTube really a social channel? YouTube is obviously a social, it has social channel implications or components, but it's also kind of a search engine, so it's kind of a hybrid. YouTube is owned by Google, and YouTube has over 1 billion unique visits each month, so a lot of traffic hitting there. 4 billion videos are watched every single day. 25% of videos are viewed on mobile devices. 62% of all men on the internet ages 18 to 24 are on YouTube. 55% of all women ages 18 to 54, so a much wider spread there, are on YouTube. And then another interesting statistic, 54% of all teens are on YouTube. Huge attraction for teens watching silly videos and things like that. YouTube is actually the second largest search engine now. It's bigger than Bing, Yahoo, Ask, and AOL combined. And it's right behind Google, obviously owned by Google as well. The primary business target is really consumers. And why would you want to have a YouTube channel as a business? The main reason is when people go to research something these days, especially consumers, they're not looking to go read an article about something. They're looking for a how-to video or a way, so they can actually watch it being done. I've done this several times myself when I'm working with my son on sports or, trying to build something or repair something. It's so much easier to go watch a video or 5 or 10 videos of someone doing the same thing, because you can actually see it being done, and rather than trying to read an article and look through pictures or diagrams, so much more useful to see it being done. And it being the second largest search engine, Google's actually now integrating YouTube videos right into your search results on Google. So if you search on how to do something, most likely you're going to find a couple of videos on that first page related to how to do the thing that you're searching. So as a business, you have an opportunity here to create some quality commercials or how-to videos, testimonials, those kinds of things to get people to recognize you as a thought leader in your industry, and also just to refer you back to your site. In YouTube, you can create a profile picture here, as well as a cover image. One thing that's interesting on YouTube is that you actually create a very large image, and depending on what platform you're using, with YouTube, this picture will change. So on a desktop, you just get this little sliver of a picture. If you're watching it on a TV through your Xbox or through your smart TV, you'll get a much larger, full-sized picture. And then if it's on a mobile device, you'll get another view. So very kind of different way that they treat it here, and something to consider when you're working through your branding of your social media. With creating YouTube, you can also create channels and playlists and really kind of customize it. So we're looking at the ESPN one here. And so they've got several channels. They've got their top videos, greatest coaches, recent uploads, and then they have related channels that they also support over on the side. So that's kind of an overview of the top 5 most used social channels. I'm going to move on now to kind of the 5 core elements of a killer social channel. The first thing that you really want to be aware of, or the thing that you want to take advantage of, is branding on your social channels. If you can take advantage of that, you really have an opportunity to kind of spread out the message of your company. And so what I've done here is I've shown you kind of how we at Strategy have branded our channel, or all of our various channels, through from Facebook to Google Plus and YouTube, etc. So for us, every month we'll be changing out our Facebook cover, and then we change out periodically the other covers we have as well. You'll notice that Facebook is a social, or it's a social channel that's really dedicated to consumers. So we have an image here that's kind of more consumer-oriented, small business-oriented. And then over on the LinkedIn side, it's about building your network. So our message here is a little bit different. It's add us to your network today, and it's showing the 4 partners that are part of Strategy. Twitter is all about news updates and social updates and things of that nature. So we've got the sunflowers representing Kansas, and then we have the kind of a mailbox here representing the news feeds and the kind of the information that we're providing out through the Twitter experience. On YouTube, it's all about video, so we've got our little video slides and video screens, things of that nature. So it really gives you an opportunity to be kind of creative and have some fun with your branding experience throughout the channels. The next thing that you really want to take a look at here is taking advantage of your employee connections on your social channels. All of the social channels allow you an opportunity to engage your staff. All of your staff probably have hundreds, and in some cases thousands of connections. And so if you leverage your staff, or you engage your staff in social media, as you are posting and sharing content, you can encourage your staff to share it and reshare it, to retweet it, those kinds of things. And that just increases the breadth of your exposure throughout the social channels. Another key component that you can have here with employee connections is building deeper and broader, and that means that if you have a salesperson, for instance, that is out and they're working with a company, and the company only experiences that one person, and something happens to that person, they move on or they retire, then all of a sudden your company has lost that connection. But you can leverage social media to build a deeper connection with your customer base so that they're getting to know more people throughout your organization, which allows you to continue those relationships when people move on. You can also leverage connections with your current networks, and in that regard, the other thing is that it's really important to reveal your humanity. You want to present yourself in a way that people can connect with emotionally and in a fun way. People like to do business with people that they like and that they enjoy and they trust, and social media provides an opportunity for you to really build upon that and develop those kinds of relationships. The third thing that you want to take a look at is leveraging referrals and recommendations. This is really huge with social media. People now are using social media to research and verify prospective businesses. I put an example out here of one of our clients, Fry Orthodontics. So I did a search for Olathe orthodontists, and Fry comes up as the #1 person here in the search results. And you'll see that it's showing their Google Places listing here. So you've got the website. They've got a 30/30 score, which means that out of all the reviews, they've got 34 reviews. They've had no negative reviews. They're all very positive reviews, and that's a perfect score for Google. You can see that I have a friend that has +1 this, so it kind of relates that and shows me that other people that I know like this company, which influences my decision to use that company. It also shows a kind of interesting thing here. So Young Orthodontics has a perfect score as well, but they have fewer reviews, so Fry shows up more. This company has 43 reviews, so more reviews than Fry, but not as good quality, so they don't show up, so Fry shows up first. So these things are all being impacted through the Google Plus page and Google Plus system. The other thing is you'll notice that Fry has an organic listing down here, and then I made a post, or our company made a post about Fry Orthodontics, and kind of saying we work with them and check them out. Notice that our Google Plus page listing here with our branded icon is showing up in the organic search results for Olathe Orthodontics when I'm logged in. So another way that again Google Plus is really impacting search results, and Google's kind of leveraging Google Plus and making it a necessity for companies to use Google Plus in that regard. The other thing that you can, with leveraging referrals, there's a lot of times when I'm out and we're looking for a new restaurant to try, and the first thing we do when we're in a neighborhood is we'll pull up Yelp, and we'll look through Yelp, and we'll look and see, if a restaurant that we're looking to go eat at has 2 reviews, probably not going to eat there, but if they got 5 reviews, we're definitely going to give it a try. And so these recommendations and referrals are just huge when it comes to not only SEO like you're seeing here, but also customer buying decisions and whether they choose to use your company or not. The other thing you can do here is you really want to ask for reviews and referrals throughout your social media and your website. Any kind of customer follow-up that you have, you want to be asking for those reviews and referrals so that it impacts your business. A lot of folks have been hesitant to ask for those because they're afraid that those referrals may be negative, and so that can definitely be a hindrance to your company. But the most important thing to do is people are going to, if they're dissatisfied with your company, they're going to post anyway. So what you want to do is you want to overcome that with a lot of positive reviews and make sure that you got good stuff happening out there. And then finally in this section, you want to engage with your customers. And Patty's going to talk more about this, but you want to really engage with customers when they're communicating with you socially. Thank them for liking your pages. Thank them for retweeting or following you. When they ask a question, be sure and fill it out. And Patty's got some great examples of that. The fourth thing you want to take a look at is dedication and consistency. Having a killer social channel really does take effort. It takes consistency. You have to post frequently. You have to post on a regular basis. The benefit of doing that, though, is it really establishes you as a thought leader in your industry. People will begin to follow you and respect you and begin to refer to you and quote you in their relationships. And so it's definitely worth the time and the energy to engage. But it's not as hard as you might think. There are tools out there that make it very easy to post across all of your channels. And so you don't have to go and post on Facebook and then go on Twitter and then go on LinkedIn and then go on YouTube or then go on, Google+. There are tools like Hootsuite will allow you to post and then distribute that across all of your channels. And we actually do that in a way that, in a couple hours a month, we can schedule an entire month's worth of posting for our clients. And then the other key thing here is you really want to be ready to react to changes. The social media platforms change very frequently. Just in the last month and a half, Google Plus changed their cover profile, their cover statistics about 3 different times, trying to figure it out. So when that happens, you have to kind of react and be ready to keep up with the changes that they make. The last piece here, and Patty's going to talk more about this, so I'm going to just kind of hit this briefly. There's a song by Toby Keith, I Want to Talk About Me. He's talking about, the song talks about his girlfriend. She's always talking and talking and talking. He never gets an opportunity to talk about his needs. And we can do that in social media as well. We can provide, all of our, just kind of talk about our own promotional stuff all the time. And what happens with that is that people begin to tune that out because it's not providing value. And so as you're communicating on your social channels, you really want to provide value to your customers. And I would say in your posting frequency, you probably want to post 4 or 5 value-added pieces of content for every one promotional item. You want to earn the opportunity to be heard and the right to communicate in that way. Also, post strategically. There's times, natural times that you want to be posting about things that are going on in culture, holidays, birthdays, other kinds of anniversaries, and other kinds of announcements. So definitely take advantage of that. The best way you can do that is have a plan. And then you want to post with balance, like I said before. You don't want to post just about yourself. Make sure that you have a good mix of content that you're promoting. And then build your fans. Do things through having contests and things of that nature to really increase the reach that you have throughout social media. So I've got, looks like we have about 30 minutes remaining here. So I'm going to turn this over to Patty, and she's going to talk more about content and kind of the value and the best practices that you can have with developing content. Patty, go ahead and take it away.
Okay, thanks, Jason. It's great to be here with you guys today, and I would love to see a couple questions in the chat box that I can ask as I'm talking more about content. So anyone have any questions about particular challenges you're having or anything else related to having a killer social media presence? We'll just put that in the chat box and I'll answer those as we go. Okay, so I have 10 best practices for you around content, which sounds like a lot, but there's some important strategies and best practices that we want to review. And the first one is your social media strategy should really flow from an overarching content strategy. And I'm going to explain what I mean by that. But this is a simple outline that I've put on this page with a few key questions. Basically, who are your customers? What are their pain points? What's the purchase process for your product or service? And how can the content that you're developing support the purchase process? And from that, then, you can determine how you want to use social media to address each stage of the purchase process. So the chart on the right side maps out a basic purchase process, and you might have been familiar with one purchase process that was named awareness, interest, desire, and action. We used that one for many years, and this is a new one that's recently come about that I like even better, and it's called Learn, Solve, Compare, and Purchase. So basically, first of all, a customer has to understand that they have a pain or a need to be solved, and then they're going to learn about that. A recent survey by Technorati said 68% of consumers spend time reading content from brands. So they're definitely interested in learning about their issue or pain point. The second piece in the solve category is, obviously there are many alternatives when you think about a customer pain point, one of which is always do nothing, right? So we want to have content that addresses what products or what services can address that customer pain point. The third piece of that purchase process compare, that's where a customer might put two vendors up against one another, different solutions, different features or benefits. That's the process of kind of looking through the alternatives, and then finally purchasing. So that's the basics of the purchase process. And down the left side, you see some categories of content that you could consider addressing each of those phases of the buying cycle. So you have brand assets. Hopefully you have some key messages about each phase of the purchase process. You'll definitely have product information that you can put into different formats. You can have high-level about us kind of information. You can have detailed product and service specification information. One place where a lot of times websites miss the mark is giving pricing information, and customers are definitely looking for prices. They're definitely looking for offers. Another type of content, customer-generated content, could be a story that someone shares on your blog or posts on your Facebook. It might be a photo that they share that they took with your product or at your event. It might be a reference that they provide to you in writing or even a verbal recommendation to a friend. Those are all examples of customer-generated content. You might also have third-party content that supports what you do in your business. So it might be an article by a thought leader. Oops, sorry about the dog barking. It might be research. It might be an event that you sponsored or that someone else sponsored. And finally, you'll have offers that customers can take advantage of. And these are ways that you can help customers engage with you and with your social media channels. So a white paper, for example, is an example of an offer. An event is an example of an offer where someone could learn about the pain points and learn about the different solutions that are available. All right, well that's a little bit about the purchase process and how you can address that through content. So let's move on to the next one. There we go. Best practice number 2, tell a story. These are two great examples of ways to tell a story. These are both examples from nonprofits, but obviously anyone can use this technique. The first example from CASA, which is an advocacy organization helping children who are in foster care and in divorce custody disputes, just tells a quick story on their Facebook about a CASA volunteer and her support of an infant. And it's just a great way to make it real, what you do and how it makes a difference. The second example is Integrity Resource Center, and they posted a video to their Facebook of someone who attended one of their training events. Again, it's a great way. You can play that in the Facebook tool itself. It's a great way to just put a face and help people imagine the benefits that they could get from experiencing your brand and taking advantage of your products and services. So there are lots of ways to tell a story. You could blog about it. That's another example. You could tweet about it. All right, let's move on to number 3, connect the dots. And what I mean by that, link people from one channel to another. So the first example, their Heartland Community Church has an e-news, and so they emailed that to their email audience, but they also posted it on Facebook and they posted it on their website. You want to drive traffic to your website. I mean, one of the main reasons, one of the main benefits of social media is to drive traffic to the website. And in that Technorati survey that I mentioned earlier, they said companies that blog have 55% more traffic to their website. And when you get more traffic to your website, then you're going to increase awareness and increase your leads. So you definitely want to connect the dots for customers and drive them to your website. The example in the middle is an example from Strategy where we posted on our Facebook page a special offer that linked to a landing page on the website. So the benefits of using a landing page that are unique to your offer will enable you to figure out how well your content's working. Did customers like that offer? Did they click over to your web page to see what that was about? And the third example is from the Pioneer Woman, who has over right around 500,000 fans on Twitter. She linked this photo of her dog to Twitter, which also linked to Instagram. And you know, Jason mentioned earlier about just having fun, and that's definitely the Pioneer Woman style, and she always is posting pictures of her pet, and it's just one way that she stays connected with people. And so you could think about, you know, what's the personality of your brand? How will you have fun with people and connect the dots for them? Another thought about connecting the dots, Jason mentioned the power of the people that you have working for you, your employees. If they are putting, you know, the fact that they work for you in their Facebook profile, on their LinkedIn profile, if they sometimes retweet your tweets, or if they post your Facebook posts to their profile, that's another great way of connecting people to the brand. Okay, let's move on to number 4, which is about sharing product information. Obviously, there are lots of different ways you can share product information, and all 3 of these are Facebook examples, but they could easily have been Google Plus or Twitter examples. The first one, in Stitches with Jess, she's sharing two things, actually. It's a thank you, which is a great way. It's great to thank your customers personally on your social media channels, but she's also giving a picture of her creative products. So help your customers imagine what you do, your solutions, and how they might apply in their own environment. The second example is from Strategy, and this is an example of business cards that we developed for someone. Again, it's a great way to promote your customers or your suppliers or your network, but also a way to say thank you and highlight what you do. The third example here is from Boulevard Brewing Company, and what I love about this example is they not only show a picture and talk about the fact that that's what's in production today, but they say, this is a favorite to boil bratwurst in. How would a customer use your product or service? You don't want to assume that they know all the creative ways that they might use your product or service. Okay, let's move on to number 5, listening. You might not think of listening as part of a content strategy, but it's so important to listen to what is happening on social media and then develop your content or adjust your content around that. And there are lots of different ways you can develop a social listening plan, which is an important part of your social media plan. These are just 2 examples. The one on the left is just a simple Twitter search on a term, CMO for Chief Marketing Officer, and that pulled up a whole list of tweets related to CMO. And there are many other ways to connect, especially with Twitter. Another one that I'm especially fond of is called hashtags.org. and you can really dive in that website and look at the different tweets with these particular hashtags. And one kind of misnomer, I think, is that you could hashtag just any phrase. I sometimes see people doing that, but a hashtag is really meant to be a way to join a conversation. So it's not meant to be a summary, a random summary. It really is meant to be a way to interact. So think of it like that. The one on the right side is from Scoopit, and that was a search I did for one of our customers on mental health issues, and it will bring up a whole page of different topics. So Scoopit is one way that you can do some social listening. There are many other ways. Google Alerts is a great way. You can put your own company name in a Google Alert and see what shows up about your company. TweetDeck or Hootsuite, which can both aggregate content for you in an application to help you listen. And the purposes of listening, A, to be able to modify your own strategy, and B, to react quickly to things that might happen in your industry or in our city. Many of these tools will allow you to search on a city, so you can kind of keep tabs on what's happening in your neck of the woods. So let's move on to number 6, which is important then to respond, not just to what you're listening, but to be having a conversation with your customers on the various social media channels. So there's a couple different examples here. The first one at the top is a post on the Starbucks Facebook page where a customer was upset about a perception that they had about Starbucks. And I really like how Starbucks was polite. Even though the customer was upset, they were polite, thanked the person for their feedback, and then they routed them to their blog where they had a more detailed post about this particular topic of how does Starbucks support the military. Underneath that is an example from Strategy. Strategy's practice is to thank people as they like our Facebook page, which is just a really simple but friendly way to connect with your customers. And people are looking for personalized content. And so anytime you can build into your content plan ways to personalize the content, that's excellent. An example on the right is from Fry Orthodontics. There were some articles in the news and press around dental practices, safety and sterilization of equipment. So they took advantage of that press to show a picture and to write a blog post about their own practices. That's a great example of taking something that's happening real time in the community or in your industry and to talk about how you're handling the situation or your thoughts on the situation. Okay, number 7 is be authentic. And social media gives you a chance to extend your brand experience. And what do I mean by that? You have orchestrated your products and services so that you will be experienced in a certain way by your customer. And so when they go to your Facebook page or when they go to your blog or your YouTube channel, you want them to get the same feeling. So if one of your core values is excellence, then you want them to experience an excellent Facebook page, excellent YouTube videos. You wouldn't want to post videos that are staticky and hard to hear if one of your core values is excellence. So that's just a way of thinking about how can we make sure that people experience the same brand no matter where they're interacting with us. You want to keep it real and be a real person. And one of the channels I think is the most difficult to be real from my experience, is LinkedIn, because I think people feel it's a professional social media channel, and it is, but you still want to demonstrate that you're a real person, because as Jason mentioned, you know, people want to do business with people that they know and they trust. And so on LinkedIn, one example might be you can still post professional content, but you can post information that demonstrates a more rounded view of your expertise and your interests. So you might post something about a charity that you are interested in, or you might post something about your general interest in marketing or technology, you know, even though that might not be a direct correlation to your particular job role or your business. And that's just a way of presenting a more rounded, you know, personal, authentic kind of expression. The example there just to the right is of Cultivate KC, and I really admire their branding, and it's a nonprofit here in the Kansas City area focused on gardening, and they do a great job of showing pictures of people, of connecting with their partners. You'll see in this Facebook post they link to several of their partners, which is a great way to showcase your connections in the community. So your suppliers, your partners, business partners, other people that you admire, this is a way to be authentic by connecting with them online. We've already talked a little bit about making it fun, but don't be afraid to, as Jason said, post some birthday pictures or anything that allows you to demonstrate, you know, just a more carefree side of your team. Being responsive, we talked about that a little bit already, but make sure that you are connecting with people through these various social channels. If you see that you're not getting views off your video, or you're not getting people who like your Facebook posts or make comments or share, it's definitely time to change it up, because you want it to be a conversation. And what I mean by recycling is you have content from a wide variety of places that may not be quite ready for posting on social media. So you might have a white paper that's just too long, or maybe it's a little bit outdated. You could edit that and post it on your blog and not be starting from scratch. You might have a video of an event where you had a really great speaker, and you could edit that and post it on YouTube or on, you know, connected on Twitter or on Facebook. So there's probably content you have available to get started, to kind of round out the content based on the purchase process as we discussed earlier. So think about that. Make a list of the content that you have available and think about how it could potentially be repurposed. Okay, let's move on to number 8. There we go, customer-generated content. We spoke a little bit about this earlier, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. Jason mentioned reviews. That's a great customer-generated content. At least it has the capacity to be a great opportunity as long as those reviews are positive. This one to the right is from Land's End, and I personally love the review feature. I use it for travel. I use it if I buy anything online. So connecting with reviews is a great option, and encouraging, especially your satisfied customers, to do a review is a great idea. The example on the right side is a photo that someone took at the zoo that the zoo then shared on their Facebook page. So that's a really simple example of someone who might have captured a story, and you then can share that and benefit from that content that was created by someone else. Obviously, when anyone forwards your post, retweets what you tweet, these are all great ways that you can increase your customer-generated content. So you want to have content that people will want to share with others. Jason made that point earlier. Let's make sure that we have value-added content and not just content about our products and services. Okay, let's go on to number 9. Keep going. This is so important, and I think something a lot of people are challenged with is that there are many ways to do social media, and it can be kind of overwhelming sometimes. And I would encourage you just to do a few things well. If you are getting started, pick the couple channels that you feel most comfortable with and keep going in that area, and then add to that as you can. The example on the right is from Hootsuite, which is a great tool for aggregating all your social media into one tool, and then you can post and schedule posts all in one sitting. This is a great way to kind of make sure that you have consistency, and you could do that in one sitting. So you could sit down and do your posts for the week or for a couple weeks. It doesn't mean if something comes up or you have a great idea that you couldn't just do a post, you can, but at least that way that you would know, hey, we've got a plan and that's going to be out there, so we're going to have posts happening throughout the week. Posting consistently is so important, and we've talked a little bit about varying the types of content, especially important based on the response. All right, I see that we're running out of time, so I'm going to go ahead and move on to number 10, which is measure it. You definitely want to align your marketing goals with your business goals, and you want to measure how your social media is performing. If you have a Facebook page, you know you get this admin panel if you're the administrator of the Facebook page, and you can see how many people you're reaching, whether or not they're forwarding, talking about your post, and that's a great kind of get started way to measure, but you want to continue to find ways to determine how people are receiving your content and how you can improve that. And making adjustments based on results is so important. If people are not responding to your tweets or your posts, you want to make a change. Invest in content. I think that is a key point, is that you need to invest in your content. There's that Technorati post that I mentioned said marketers typically spend 25% of their marketing budget on content. So I think that's a great sort of thought about what are we doing, how are we investing in content specifically. The other example on this page is from Beth Cantor's Facebook page, and she specifically addresses nonprofit social media, but she's a great person to follow because she talks a lot about measurement in social media. And so I would encourage you to think about seeking out some resources around the measurement topic. Well, I'm going to wrap up and just invite you tomorrow to check out the strategy blog, because we'll be posting to our blog an article that kind of gives you a list of content. We'll give you that chart about the purchase process and the content categories, and encourage you to get started building a content strategy and acting on it. So I'm going to turn it back to Jason and Ed for any final questions.
Thanks, Betty. We are running pretty close on time, so we'll have a couple minutes here for questions and answers. If anybody has any questions, if you want to post them in the public texting. I do see a couple of them. I saw one for, what is your opinion, from Pam, what is your opinion about paying for advertising through Yelp? I'll talk about that just briefly. I think I would invest first on getting reviews and getting your reviews up. Advertising is typically not something that people look at. I mean, it's good for brand exposure, those kinds of things. 87% of people avoid ads that are on websites. So it's kind of a low return. Kind of depends on what your strategic goal is, I guess, but I would focus more on the reviews and building out a strong Yelp page first, and then there may be other avenues for actually advertising. Google Ads may be a better venue than Yelp Ads, depending on what your industry is. And Patty, do you have any thoughts on that?
No, that's good, Jason.
And then Sheila had a question. I'm a senior sales director with Mary Kay. Mary Kay has social media guidelines, but we do still have flexibility around those. I'd be interested in understanding the best way to use the channels efficiently since I only have one other part-time assistant, and what would be the best content. Patty, do you want to address that? Then she suggests reposts from Mary Kay's page, educational topics, etc.
Yeah, definitely. I think depending on the kind of content that they're providing, you definitely want to use whatever content you can. And I would think about LinkedIn, especially, just knowing what the business of Mary Kay is. How could you use LinkedIn strategically to connect with people in events and networking opportunities, as well as offers? Because I do know from my own experience there are a lot of great offers that happen through Mary Kay, and I think customers are definitely looking for offers. One thing I read recently said that often business owners think people come to their Facebook page to learn about them, when really consumers said they come to someone's Facebook page primarily looking for pricing and offering information. So those are a couple thoughts.
Do we have any other questions?
Jason, there was one more question that Margie, I believe, shared, and it was how to actually get or attach the great ideas to the sites. She's not good on the technical side, and was wondering how she can get the how-tos.
That's a great question. That actually kind of leads into some of the offers we have at the end of the kind of some of the promotional items that we have at the end of the presentation here. So why don't we address that in just a moment and see if there's any. We'll give about 10 seconds here for any final questions, and then we'll wrap it up. All right. Feel free to obviously send us an email. We'd have you to answer any questions afterwards as well. You can reach us at sales@strategynewmedia.com or jason.wilson or patty.robb or ed.roach at strategynewmedia.com, and be happy to talk about answering questions you might have after the event as well. Ed, do you want to go ahead and take over this one, and then we'll wrap it up?
Absolutely. Thank you guys for sharing with us, Patty and Jason, the things that you've gleaned across your many years in the marketing world and with technology. And thank you, each one of you who's chosen to be with us today at this Create a Killer Social Media Web Presence webinar. Thank you for participating. We do have a free ebook that goes out to each of you. We'll get that out to you via email, and that will have design specifications for the 5 channels that we reviewed today. Margie, that may answer a bit of the questions that you may have, but I know that there's still some other technical challenges that folks face, and so we want to come alongside you for those sorts of things. We have a webinar bonus. So one-on-one social coaching is half price, and we look forward to those that want to take advantage of that, just contacting us, let us know your interest. We'll discuss it with you and see if it's a good fit for you. And then the other special bonus that we have for those attending the webinar today is the web and social analysis for only $399. It's 46% savings over the normal rate, but it also is what will help you get a better strategy and actually more effectively get the results that you're looking for from all of your media, digital, and social connections. We thank you guys, all of you, for participating again. if you would, please mark it on your calendar tomorrow morning to check out the blog at strategynewmedia.com/blog, where Patty Rob's post will appear, and you'll gain some more insight there. And we appreciate all the time that you've given us, and apologize for going over by just a few minutes. Have a great day.
Thanks, everybody.